Hello. So we're going to just do what we would have done in class this week. We're going to be looking at some lateral hip and other stuff. You probably would only need one brick, but a wall can be helpful if you find balancing difficult. Don't worry, there won't be loads. Usual things, if you've got an injury, know where your limit is, don't push into pain. Obviously I can't see you, so I will give you some alternatives and stuff, but just be sensible, work with your own body. So we'll start laying down and just knees bent, feet flat to the floor. Just a moment to settle the body, a moment to settle your thoughts. Become aware of the contact of the floor, contact under your feet, your pelvis, your back. If anything needs to shift around a little bit. Just check in with your breath. Maybe the breath is better being completely natural. Maybe you need the focus of a slightly more controlled breath. Whatever your breath is doing, let's link it to moving the spine. So at first, little pelvic tilts with your exhalation, inhalation to release. Think about driving the lumbar spine hard against the floor. You can add in a little bit more of a press with the feet, almost as though you could drag the heels back towards your bum. Again, just as much effort, as little effort as you want to put in. And then if you want to go beyond pelvic tilts, we'll start to lift up and keep the lower ribs down. Peeling the spine down, peeling the vertebrae down. If you want to go a little further, we can lift up, lifting those lower ribs, keeping the base of the shoulder blades down, peeling back down through the vertebrae. Just stop anywhere or go as far as you want to. You can start to bring yourself up into the bridge, but make sure it's segmental. Feel the spine. And if you want to, you can reach the arms towards the ceiling so that the shoulder blades reach away so you can feel into that thoracic spine. Yeah, let's do one more. Good, and as you come down, we'll extend the legs straight. So for today, let's bring the legs together, the feet together as best as they fit. And activating the legs, you can do this in two different ways. You can either push through the heels, your heels might lift up off the floor, or you can dig the heels down into the floor. Just play around with both of those and see which one you like the feel of best in your legs. You're going to keep the toes pointing up, so you can bring your fingertips onto your frontal hip bones. So you can slide the foot to make it easier or lift the foot to make it a little harder, just barely hovering off the floor. So I'm going to keep the right toes pointing up, just going to skim that leg out to the right without any rotation, without moving that left leg at all until I hit that wall in the outer hip where it should feel like a lovely cramp. And then slide it back to centre. We'll do that twice on that leg. So we don't want any rotation. We don't want to turn those toes out to the side. We want to keep the tips of the toes pointing up to the ceiling. And we don't want to hoik that left hip out of the way. So 3, on the right. Luckily I have a cupboard. So I can't go any further. And then reroute that right leg as you can slide or slightly float the left leg out. So we want to go as far as we can go where we sort of like hit that wall. So there's no rolling at all. It really is working into that sort of abduction of the hip. Good. 3 of them. If you fancy it, let's go for both. Okay. So I'm making sure with my hands here that my pelvis isn't rocking. This is joyful. Really, really lovely. Just like do that. Push out into those outer hips there, good. And back to centre. So that one I did sort of sliding the calves on the floor. This one I'm going to raise the legs just above. That might be too strong. But I'm being filmed, so I have to carry on. Good, and that can be the last one. We're going to bring the knees up into the chest. You can hold them, not hold them, and take a few roll up and downs on the spine. If you don't like that, roll side to side. Anything's better than anti-crip. Hip cramp, not crip cramp. And then we'll come all the way up to seated. So we'll do the same thing in seated. If you choose to sit upright, it's a little bit more challenging. So you can take a lean back, but we want to try and keep that, extension through the spine. So again, the toes are pointing up. I'm either digging the heels down into the floor or I'm sort of really extending. I'm going to lift that right leg just an inch. Try and keep it that distance as far as it can go. Maybe you don't have a cupboard, you're quite lucky. And set it down, and then we'll bring the left as well. So if you are happy upright, be upright. If you're better off leaning back, go for it. But at this point, I'm going to sort of isometrically just really try and push into that resistance that I have and hold that for a few seconds. You should feel some juicy stuff going on around the tops of the hips. So I'm trying to drive out without any rotation at all. Good. And then as I come back down, I'm going to lift or slide that right leg back to center. And lift or slide that left leg back to center. Good. I'm going to bend the right knee and just place the foot wherever it lands, not too bothered. As I drop the right knee out to the right, my left butt cheek will lift. Driving down through that left leg, slightly pigeony, look, and I'm going to swing in slow motion this left leg back. So it gets to here, I can't bring the leg back any further, so I'm going to bend the knee and kick back into that resistance, which again just feels wonderful. Extending the leg straight, and then as I swing the leg forwards, rotating so that my butt goes down, still driving through this right leg. Let's do that again. It's always like a sort of slow motion ninja kick. As I push back, this right leg is active, this knee and foot are trying to lift up. Take it all the way back, set the heel down, right knee lifts up, right leg extends. Let's do the other side. So I'm just going to pick up or slide the foot back. It lands where it lands. Dropping that knee, pushing through that leg, and my right side will lift up. I'm going to elevate that leg, and if it's too much, you can take this nice lazy option. It's not lazy, it's good. And when I can't get that leg any further back, I bend, but I'm not rotating. Good, extending and finding through this leg that drive to come back. One more as I lift up, turn into that kick back, bending that knee, fighting that resistance that I have. Good, I take it all the way back, set down and extend the leg. Good, take yourselves over into hands and knees. Just do a little wrist warm up, pad your knees, you know the score, circling around so we can feel how the wrists feel today. And this is up to you, where you go, but we just want to find some different loads. Don't want to work into pain. We can walk the hands around. They don't have to be doing the same thing, so you might have one arm that's slightly further forward, but we want to try and keep those elbows straight. If you're really confident here, you can do this sort of one-handed. Make a nice little grindy sound as I did that. Good. Good, and then maybe just a couple of seconds on the back of each hand. You could do this for longer, but this isn't going to be a super long practice today. Good. So let's go a little bit more into the hips. We'll just do 2 hip cars each side. So placing the brick against your support hip, I'm going to place it against the left hip, and drawing that right knee up into the chest, opening the leg out to the side, and we want to continue the circle as we draw the leg all the way out behind us. Notice that the pelvis is staying still, and I'm not going to knock the brick over. We reverse as we push the knee out behind us. Contain the pelvis and contain your lumbar spine from sort of rocking around as well. So that's one round. Let's do another. As I pull in, it's a bit more abdominal effort. As I open out, I need to stabilize. As I come back, I want to push into that resistance of my sort of hamstring and glute. Good. And all the way back. Good. As I set that down, I'm just going to want the shoulders a little bit. So same arm is going to reach forwards, pushing the palm to the ceiling, then bending the elbow, pushing the elbow to the ceiling, pushing the arm to the ceiling, or the palm to the ceiling, and pushing the elbow to the ceiling. Don't want to rotate the chest as I do this. I'm going to do one more. And then I'm going to turn all the way I draw this big circle so that my palm ends up facing up to the ceiling, like I want to high five the ceiling, and then rotate, reaching it all the way back. The palm again points up to the ceiling. One more of those all the way around and all the way back. No rotation through the chest. Good. Just tucking the toes under for a second, as much or as little weight as you want. If I show you from the side, we're here. And then we'll come over onto the other side. So I'm just placing the brick against the hip. You can see a different angle this time. The rule in class is if you knock the brick over, you buy the drinks. This still applies. You can do an online order. I'm fine with that. Knee to chest. Opening all the way around into that circle to extend that. Try not to collapse the lumbar spine here, using the movement of the femur within the sort of hip socket. Good. You can add a little bit more resistance each time. I like to think of trying to push that leg through sticky mud. Oh, good. It's got to make a face. You've got to have a face if this is working. Good. Take it all the way back. Same thing, as I drive down through that right arm, I reach the left palm up, bending the elbow, pulling the elbow to the ceiling. Like I'm balancing a tray of delicious cheese on my palm. Good. I think we did 2. It doesn't hurt if I get it wrong. I get it wrong in class. Good. And then we'll rotate, drawing that big circle. So think of this as like, you know, like a Barbie doll. When you're trying to dress a Barbie doll, she does not rotate her torso to make life easier for you. And that really tight leather jacket is really hard to get on her. Good. As you take the hand down, tuck the toes, and we'll sit back just so you can give your wrists any little relief that you need to. Awesome stuff. So having your brick nearby, we might need that in a second. Let's come up into a downward facing dog. And let's just create some strength across the scapulas. Now, I know there's some fans of the foot pedaling. That might be something that you fancy doing today. Let's go for that. So this next bit, you can keep yourself in downward facing dog, or you could do this on your hands and knees, so you can make a decision if this is too strong. I'm going to raise, I'll show you my left leg, raise the left leg up. Okay, so at first there's no rotation through the chest, no rotation through the pelvis. Then I'm going to turn to point those toes out to the left. So I'll be able to lift the hip a little bit higher, not turning the chest. And then I'm just going to pulse that leg up about 5 or 6 times. So I push into that resistance at the top there. Lovely. And then I'm going to hold at the top of that pulse. This right knee can be bent if you need to. I'm going to extend to look forwards as I step that foot into a lunge. So we're just going to take a little moment in a lunge there, extending the chest and doing whatever we need to do, which might just be breathing. Good, and then we'll do the other side. So step back to downward facing dog, or hands and knees, raising the right leg and rotating the hip out to the side. You'll feel that as you pulse up, there's that resistance there. So I don't want to turn the chest, I don't want to turn anything else, and then I'll step that foot all the way forwards into a lunge. Yeah. And then dropping that left knee down, stepping the right foot back. So we're back into this hands and knees. So just like in the hip car, let's imagine the bricks against the hip, which you can do that again. So that first leg again, which was our right leg, I'm just like a little pendulum. I'm going to keep the knees level and I'm going to open the knee to the side. I don't want to lean over. So I need to sort of like keep that hip, left hip above the left knee, and then I take it back down again. Okay. So we've got a little hold at the top there. And for fun, oh, isn't it great when you film yourself? You have to do the hard bit. Extend, bend, and back. And we'll do to the other side. So when you're ready, lifting up, and that temptation to lean is so very strong. So take it up, find that sort of end resistance there, and take it down. There'll be a lot of work going on through the shoulders and the core as well. Take it up, and then the fun bit, extend, but try and keep your weight over the leg. Good. Back and all the way down. And then again, just come back to downward facing dog. And you know that thing when teachers go, oh, downward dog's a rest? You're like, actually, yeah, today it is. Amazing. We're going to walk the feet forwards towards the hands. Nice, slow walk. And you can find a forward fold in whether that's knees bent or straight. Let's just hang over the legs for a second. Good. And we'll take a slow roll up, just like we did in our bridge. Try and segment the spine. Strong belly, hanging arms, head just sort of slots into place after the shoulder blades. I know you can't see my head. Hopefully it's not that important. So decide the front of the mat. Keep your brick nearby. And we're going to find these little cool transitions now. So just like we did on our backs and in seated, hence why you might need the wall, I'm going to open that right foot out to the side with the toes pointing forward. So let's keep the standing leg really active and the pelvis in neutral. We'll do a couple of these just so we can find this. We can feel what's happening in that left foot. Good. As we take the leg out to the side, very similar to what we did, I'm going to take a bend of that front knee to take this leg to kick it all the way back. I'm going to land in a sort of warrior two-ish position. You can move your feet. Then I want to notice this top hip if it's lifting up. Can I drop it down? Yeah, so that my hips are level regardless of what this knee's doing. This is about the pelvis. Good. You can take a little bit more into this leg, but I'm really sort of engaging this sort of side hip stuff here. And then as I come back to center, I'm going to straighten the front leg and do the same thing here with this little reach back. So keep all of this stuff engaged again. Lucky if you find that cramp. Awesome. I'm going to take it back to standing. As I bend this front leg, I'm going to pick up the back foot to bring it all the way back round to here. Let's try the other leg. So ground this standing leg. Let's do a couple of these lovely little leg lifty things. I'm going to face my back to you. So as I take the leg out, bending the standing leg as I reach back, warrior two-ish legs. We can adjust them. Center the hips so you can use this stuff as you take a little slide back. So it's not like a full reverse warrior. We just want to feel this stability here. And then as I come back up, straightening the front leg, same thing. Everything's active as I reach back. Good. As I come back to center, lean into the bend of that front leg. And you could do this on the floor. Your balance isn't so good as you bring the leg all the way back. Okay, so we'll add a little bit more into that. Right leg. Take it out. Good. As we extend it back this time, I want to try and keep that leg up. Now here's where my sofa is handy, or my brick, yeah? This is where a wall behind you is handy as I keep driving through that leg. So we sort of ended up in a half moon. If you feel unstable, take the block a little wider, yeah? We're going to do the same little sequence here, but we've really got this tension on the outer hip. So bend the standing knee, we land, probably more gracefully than me. Through the warrior two-ish legs, we're not being too precise here, into this, and then into that sort of reach, so we can create that line of tension in that back hip. You can do the dramatic thing with the arms, yeah, or you can support the hand against the leg. Good, back up to center, straighten that front leg, and do the same thing, yeah, just to feel what you feel. Good, as you come all the way back up. This time, as I lean, I'm going to pick up this back leg, bring it all the way around, bend the knee and see if I can cross the ankle on top of the bent left knee. I can hold on to something. And this time this is lengthening quite nicely now. Get a little bit of relief in that area that we've been stretching out. How deep do you want to go? That's up to you. Where does it feel good? Good. And then we come back up to standing for the other side. So take that. Let's think about leading with the heel rather than leading with the toes. And I'm going to drop into this leg's leading as I find my Ardha Chandrasana, the other side. Keep lifting through that heel. Want to lift that as high as we can. And then hopefully, you can keep your hand down if you need to. You can lift it up. We find where our legs land in that warrior two. Drive into that and do this nice little reach back. Activate this stuff here. Good. As you come up, straighten that front leg. See what difference that makes. Good. Come back. Take that little step, lean. As you pick up this back foot, cross it over. Yeah. Sit down as though you're sitting down on a chair. Get some sensation in this leg, and if it's in the knee, you know you're going too far. You could just stay for a few breaths. You can go a little lower. Awesome. And then as we come all the way up, we'll just come back into standing. Take a little bend of the knees, roll down all the way into your forward fold. Yeah, looking forwards. And stepping back, downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, plank. Gently dropping the knees down. And we're going to swing the feet to one side so we can organise a mermaid-ish type position. So we want the, no, it's not 1990, it's like a little mermaid. And we'll just do a couple of these. So as I lift up, we just want to see how, if we need to move the feet, the knees around anywhere, and just see if you can bring yourself up and down. If you can't bring yourself up and down, then stay down or choose to not do this part. But we're going to really think about the left leg at the moment, which is my front leg. As I bring the pelvis back, I want to slow down the time it takes me to sit. So I'm eccentrically lengthening that left outer hip. There might be a sudden bump as you drop the bum down, but let's go for as slow as we can, that nice soft landing, and we'll do that twice more. So lift up, as hard as any lugs, reach forward, like I'm going to sit on a chair that unfortunately just isn't there. I'm sure this could be practically used if that ever did happen to you, and you could just go all the way down and be like, yeah, I knew there was no chair there. Good. Last one. Good. We'll switch sides. Let's do it this way, where we picked up the leg, remember at the beginning, and we'll extend that leg and bring it forwards. Untuck the other leg, and let's organise the feet. So my right foot is near my left knee. I could be more on padding if I needed to be. So I just want to check one that I can get up and get down. If I need the support of bricks, that's absolutely fine as well. So right butt sticks back. Really think of that external rotation. So I'm sort of corkscrewing that right knee out to the right as I slow down this lean back. It feels wonderful. So it's a very, very soft landing. You could also put something under your bum if you can't get all the way to the floor. Keep the legs really active, extend as you lower down. Last one. And reach. Good. And then as I come up, let's pick up this back foot, and let's see if we can organise ourselves into a little bit of a Baddha Konasana, bringing the feet together. You can hold, you can sit, you can do whatever feels good. But let's just add a little bit more drive down towards the floor. So my knees get quite close, I think, yeah, they're there today. But you could place bricks underneath. But I just want to do a little drive down, emphasising that sort of work of pushing the knees down. Doing it without my arms, just doing it with the strength of the legs. And then reaching the feet forwards, scooching your butt forwards so you've got room to roll back. Just a little spinal roll down. So I'm going to go to my sit bones, and then I'm going to roll to the tailbone. You can use your hands under your legs, lift back to the sit bones. Then I just get my jumper out of the way, roll through the tailbone, and see if I can roll onto the sacrum. So I'm pressing the sacrum down. Lift back up in towards the sit bones to the tailbone. This time I want to go down into the lumbar, so I go sit bones, tailbone, through the sacrum, this is the tricky bit, and just push the lumbar down. My lower ribs are still up, and then lift back up through the lumbar, through the sacrum, onto the tailbone. This time, like we did in the bridge at the beginning, we go through the sacrum, through the lumbar, you know, the bit that makes you do that, and then all the way onto those lower ribs, but not onto the shoulder blade tips. They're still above the floor. Push into that lumbar, push into that sacrum, into tailbones to sit bones. This time I'm just going to go through it all the way down. So see if you can segment that spine all the way down without overusing that rounding of the upper back. Through the sacrum, now through the lumbar, lower ribs, lower shoulder blades, upper shoulder blades. Now, any moment to do whatever you need to do. I'm going to choose to finish how I started, like little bookends of the practice, seeing how I feel. Just witness your system settling. Find that quietness. Just stay here for as long as you need.